Welcome to Climate Quickies, bite-sized nuggets of climate goodness from our TEDxLondon experts in under 5 minutes.
In this week's Climate Curious, we're taking a look at how climate crashed the Super Bowl earlier this year. Between diss tapes, dance moves, and touchdowns, something else pretty big happened. The world's first climate issues ad aired on the Super Bowl, the world's biggest stage for advertisers. Here to share how they made this happen and the behind-the-scenes reality of landing climate on the big screen is climate marketing professor John Marshall. On how climate crashed the Super Bowl, let's head over to John to hear more. Stay curious.
Hi there, I'm John Marshall. I'm CEO of a new nonprofit called Potential Energy. We're a marketing firm dedicated to awakening the world to climate change and dramatically accelerating solutions. Kind of a marketing firm for planet Earth, to make it simple. Well, we're very excited about it. It's a first. I think it's the first climate issue ad ever run on the Super Bowl. And the backstory is that we had been working and have been working with a very innovative and thoughtful group at the Waverly Street Foundation who had the idea of investing in climate communications on a bigger stage. And it was their generosity that made this possible. Our team helped guide the strategy and the media strategy to do something very big. But I will say, in addition to being big, very economically efficient at this particular moment. And those of you who know me well know that my tombstone will say he was economically efficient. So suffice to say that this was a very smart media buy with a focus on digital and a regional focus. And it wasn't a Budweiser-sized Super Bowl investment, but we did get what we hope is Budweiser-sized impact and reach. The other part of the backstory was that while Waverly was planning the effort, the fires in LA broke out. And that's when we in Waverly quickly decided that this particular Science Moms ad that we ran would have the highest impact for this moment. And so for those of you who don't know, Science Moms are a group of female climate scientists who are also moms. Their mission is to educate on the issue in a way that really connects the dots for regular people. And so we chose over the last few weeks this ad, which was actually one of our very highest performing ads. We've done thousands of message tests, and this is the very top one because we thought it was a way to really educate people at the moment that extreme weather was hitting. And the essence of it is, how do we talk about the human consequences of climate change in a way that resonates for real people and their lives? And so one of the key parts of it, in addition to educating folks on climate change, was to also help raise money for the victims of the LA wildfires. And so we partnered with a group called the California Community Foundation and actually used this in addition to being an educational ad to raise money for the victims of the LA fires. This climate change is maybe the biggest challenge humanity has ever faced. And so why not put it on humanity's biggest media stage? And so that was the plan. Here's what the data says, though. When you look at climate and how regular people are thinking about it, the biggest challenge is that they're not thinking about it enough and they don't know what's at stake. And so we chose a message that we thought was most effective at really awakening the world in a big and emotional way, in a way that we could really get people to care. And throughout all of our research over the last few years, we found we need to shed the complexity, get rid of the economic concepts, the decarbonization, the net zero scope 3 mumbo jumbo, and talk to humans like humans, talk to them about things that matter, that matter to people, like love and what we love. And so the ad that we ran is called By the Time, and it traces a story through little anecdotes of one of the most important things in a person's life, raising a child. So on a timeline, alongside how the world will change as a child ages, it's also a timeline of how the climate will age. It's a story that appeals to a parent's desire to do all they can do to make the world a better place and to protect their kids. And so it's a very simple story of a girl growing up and how the world around her is changing and what it will be like at that pivotal moment when she leaves home. It's one of the most powerful and emotional things that we've done. And we thought it was the right kind of emotional heft to land on the Super Bowl stage. We got ranked a top 10 Super Bowl ad by the New York Times. And so that was exciting for our team, particularly because we beat Doritos, which was great. And so what makes a good ad for that? I think it's something that tells a great Super Bowl ad is something that tells a true story in a way that appeals to something that people care about. And our message was about the kids that we love. Interestingly, the way you usually win the Super Bowl sweepstakes is you get yourself a great spokesperson, Catherine O'Hara or Roger Federer, and you do something that's really funny but also really insightful, or you have a talking baby. And climate change isn't that funny, is it? And so what we didn't have the spokespeople, we didn't have the talking babies, but what we did have, we thought was a story that deeply resonates. We all love our children. So this is a uniting idea. And I think most importantly, and the data says it's bigger than politics, bigger than special interests, something that, really appeals, to something we all hold deeply, and apparently bigger than our love of salty snacks. And so it was a very effective ad. And I think effective because, what is great marketing? Great marketing is a story about the truth that's really well told. And so what's the reception been? So we're still gathering all the data. And for those who know us, we spend a lot of energy calculating the actual economics of every dollar we spend. But I think the short answer seems to be phenomenal. What I can say right now is the reception has really stunned us. People love the message. Those of us in the media world know that the key to these things like the Super Bowl ad is not just what you buy, but all the free extra reach that you get outside of the game. And it looks to us like about over 50 million people were exposed to the ad for free because of the energy of sharing and spreading it around, and influencers who shared it, and basically the virality that were able to be achieved. And the second thing we're really psyched about is it looks like the sentiment for the ad, which you can measure on social media, is about 94% positive. So those of us who worry that climate change might be polarizing or political, that's not what we see in the data. We see 94% of all the sentiment was really, really positive. We're very excited about the reception and look forward to getting more data in the coming weeks. Yeah, so we're a nonprofit that's entirely supported by the generosity of our funders. And I think one of the things that's happened over the last 5 years is that the funding community has really woken up to the value of investing in communications. And so we have a number of generous donors that help support potential energy. In this case, the Waverly Street Foundation is, a real visionary when it comes to thinking about the role of communications in educating citizens, but also sparking and motivating and uniting the movement inside of communities. And so Waverly was a partner and supporter and really catalyst behind this whole effort. And they've made a really big difference, and we're excited about that. We had a brilliant director for this piece, a man named Spencer Cray, who really knows how to, really touch humans in a way that touches their heart and captures emotions that I think we all feel. And that was the essence behind it. If I learned one thing about this, we need to be way bolder. And I was just so heartened by the reception we got from doing this, through the thousands of messages we received. My phone is lighting up with texts. Just a feeling. There's a feeling in the community that, oh man, this is hard. But when you do something big and bold and people get behind it, it makes you feel like, we can do this together. We believe in humanity and we tell human stories to each other. We actually can make progress. So we're excited to do more. If you go to sciencemoms.org, you can see the ad. The ad is called By the Time. And you can learn more about our organization at potentialenergycoalition.org.
Thanks for listening to this quickie.
This episode was created by our superstar podcast team at TEDxLondon. Until next time,
stay curious.